A very good morning to one and all present here. So I'll just recollect what we had heard yesterday. So yesterday we all had heard about a lot of things about technologies for future cities like artificial intelligence, Internet of Nano Things, self-driving cars, so on and so forth. Professor Azim Tiwari had literally taken all of us on roller coaster as he meant, and he also talked about the mental and physical challenges which we might face in future cities. And we do have our doctors which are expert and well equipped with technological advanced equipment to treat us. Okay? So along with these technologies, the transformation of infrastructure of cities is also equally important. So here we have our today's speaker who is a civil engineer, transportation expert, and along with this, he is also a yoga teacher. So let me introduce Mr. Avinash Shabade. Mr. Avinash Shabade is a visionary professional dedicated to enhancing urban environments and lives of residents. Originally from Latur, Maharashtra, he earned his civil engineering degree in 2006. His passion for driving impactful change led him to pursue an MTech degree from IIT Bombay in 2009. Avinash sir joined CITCO, that is City and Industrial Development Corporation of Maharashtra, over a decade ago, where he played a pivotal role in revolutionizing transportation infrastructure. His expertise has greatly contributed to projects like smart cities and transit-oriented railway stations. Recently, he received recognition from the Minister of Road Transport and Highways for his indispensable role in improving road connectivity in Navi Mumbai. Congratulations, sir. His commitment to sustainability is evident through his daily bicycle commute to the office, promoting eco-friendly transportation. He envisions cities like prioritize people over vehicles and actively participates in organizations like the Indian Road Congress and the Institute of Urban Transport. Beyond engineering, Avinash sir is also a yoga teacher, spreading mindfulness and well-being within his community. His dedication extends far beyond his professional pursuits, reflecting a holistic commitment to a better society. So before I call Mr. Avinash, I just want to talk about since last few days, many of us who have been commuting by local trains have been facing the local train delay problems because of the ongoing work of the railway tracks. We don't mind facing these issues for a few days, as this definitely is a step forward for better transportation infrastructure. So let's listen to Avinash sir on the topic, generation of railway stations in Mumbai metropolitan region. So with this short introduction, I would like to invite Avinash sir to deliver his talk. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope we are already delayed, so let's get on to the topic. Yeah, the topic today is actually 3 generations of railway stations in MMR. That's Mumbai Metropolitan Region, which is almost 6,000 square kilometers. I see majority of participants here are students, and I would like to keep my presentation or a talk in that mode, wherein we try to understand what transportation engineers or planners do. I recently came to know that we don't have civil engineering here, but still it's it's very interesting. I usually, whenever I talk about the infrastructure of the city or the transportation infrastructure of the city, I always tell about what actually we do, who we are. And I belong to CITCO. I joined CITCO in 2009. It was a very fascinating journey. You are looking at a person who in 1999, in my 10th standard, decided not to crib about the infrastructure in the country, but to contribute towards the infrastructure of the country. So that one single line still persists in my mind, and I'm since 1999, almost 24 years, I'm working on the same aim which I decided in my 10th standard. Why this is important, I'll tell you. It's very, very important to understand what we do and why are we here. So in 2009, when I joined CITCO, it was a very fascinating experience for me. My today's presentation or talk is outlined in this way. I would like to take few minutes to introduce the role of transportation engineer in our lives. So what do these people do? Who are these transportation engineers? What exactly we do? I specifically talk about it because sometimes a person who had 30 years of experience of civil engineering, he still doesn't understand what exactly we do. People think that we are truck managers or logistics managers. It's not that. We are basically civil engineers or architects in our undergraduation, and post that we do PG in transportation planning and engineering. What does that mean? What is transportation planning and engineering mean? In very layman terms, I'll tell you, civil engineers know how to build. But what and how much to build, they have been told by somebody. If you are in a small town, it is told or envisioned by the politician of that area. And if you have a scientific background of why we are building a 19,000 crore bridge on Mumbai Sea, we have transportation engineers come up with that idea that we need this demand estimation. So the outline, I'll talk about the role of transportation and what is ASI methodology, and then we'll come to our main topic, that is suburban railway in Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. The three generations, how the railway stations have evolved. हम अभी भी बोलते हैं कि जो विक्टोरिया टर्मिनस है या CST है, how beautifully they have planned, how grand it is, and how we are bad compared to those Britishers in terms of planning. But I'll prove them wrong today. The next is, sometimes we don't call it railway stations, we call it multimodal integrated transit hubs, that too passenger hubs. And then we'll try to understand the case studies. When I say three generations, what are those three generations? Like from CST to Bamandongri or Khandeshwar. If somebody belongs here from Ulve Node, they know what Bamandongri station is, but they still have no idea what actually they're going to get. Okay, so let's move forward. So first part is role of transportation engineer. It's very much fascinating, the job. 24 years से मैं इतनी passion से, उतने enthusiasm से काम कर पा रहा हूँ because of the complexity of the problem. I would like to ask any of you here, anybody here, given a bond paper that for next 5 years from the Pillai college as faculty or from any office you're going to join, can you give me on bond paper that you're going to leave the office at 6:30 p.m. and will definitely go by bicycle, by two-wheeler, by four-wheeler, or by train or by bus? आप आपकी life खुद चुनते हो. You choose your transport by yourself. But can you give me on bond paper that you will definitely travel by the same mode? Nobody here can give that in writing because you don't know. And if you don't know how you're going to travel for the next 5 years, because somebody somewhere sitting, some Siddhant or some Priya will take a bicycle today, tomorrow she'll be earning some money, then the household income or her income increases, she'll buy a Maruti car, first car, or maybe she'll directly jump onto Mercedes if she gets a very good package. Or somebody like wants to work for an NGO and then he goes by bus because he won't have much salary. It's all related to the day you travel, the time you travel. Suppose you are in a working environment, you are an IT engineer and it's a Friday. You will not go to home directly, right? You'll have some party and then you'll go. So day changes the time of travel. Today faculty is there, but Saturday achanak se bula liya office. This month it's working for you, right? Saturdays for faculty, achanak se. Nobody's happy for that, but it's definitely you have to come. And you never planned to come, but you're coming. Now guess, you tell me how transportation engineers plan for 30 years of your travel. That is what we do actually. And in Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, you must be seeing the difference. Ki how better we are compared to Mumbai in terms of transport infrastructure facilities. So that's the role of transportation engineer. And when I said, how do we travel? This many modes are there. And the most important mode is missing here. We walk. And I've shown this running boy not because we walk in Mumbai, we never walk in Mumbai. We brisk walk or we run to stations. Right? So this is how we travel. And today I'll not be focusing on why do we travel. Everybody knows that we travel for work, we travel for leisure, we travel for so many reasons. And now you understood the quantum of the problem. How do we travel? And it's choosing between these modes and we knowing about your travel mode for next 30 years and then planning one bridge or railway station or a metro which is taking 12 years to execute in Navi Mumbai. It's really difficult. And sometimes, luckily in Navi Mumbai we don't have any political interference, and that is why it is all scientific. And the most important part is in the whole of our country, there are no municipal corporations, there are very few municipal corporations who have transportation engineers to scientifically study and estimate the demand. Like only all 4 municipal corporations or say regional development authorities, that is Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad. And rest of the cities in this country are Ram Bharose. And if you see it, in 2015 I've been representing CIDCO for smart cities. When I went to Delhi and other places in 2015, every smart city, 100 smart cities ka competition ho raha tha, every smart city was talking about the traffic problem. But there was no solution provider. And in transportation, you can't just hire a consultant, ask him to come for 1 month or 3 months or a year and try to give the solution for next 30 years. अब उसको पता ही नहीं है कि ये केरला है, ये महाराष्ट्र है, यहाँ पे गणपति फेस्टिवल कब होता है, how people travel, why people travel, what are the conferences, what are those times of the year where people gather and why they gather and all that. To understand a city, it takes a long time. That is why you need transportation engineers in the municipal corporations on the payroll of government, understanding the city for next 2-3 years and then providing a comprehensive mobility plan. But luckily, what happened in 2016, Ministry of Urban Development made a compulsion that if a city has a comprehensive mobility plan, then only they will fund for your metro. Now for at least that metro rail planning, cities are going for comprehensive mobility plans. So to understand the travel, you need to understand the person. You need to understand the household behavior, even the socio-economics. Driver behavior is very crucial for us. So we understand the quantum. Now we will see what are the principles of our planning. How do we do this? We adopt this ASI methodology. Let's not go into the details of this, but to keep it simple, ASI. This is what we have been taught. Avoid, shift and improve. What should be the aim of a doctor? Any medical professional, उनका aim क्या होना चाहिए? ये patient अपने पास आता रहे कि आए ही ना. There should not be need of doctors. That should be the ultimate aim of a doctor. Similarly, a transportation engineer or planner's aim is similar, that we should not be required, or not we. We should create an environment as a city planner that there is no requirement of transportation. That is avoid methodology. Transport ही avoid करें. अब उसका एक best example, we proudly talk about Seawoods railway station. That is built on that principle, avoid transport. How you say, एक railway station है, फिर transport कैसे avoid करें? Building a mall above the railway station cancels your number of trips. Suppose you are a family living in Seawoods and you are a family of 4, 2 kids going to college or 1 going to office and 2 husband wife going to their offices. They all leave at the same time or at different times. They go to railway station, they park their car or 2-wheeler, they take the train, go to their offices or college, come back to the same station because home is there. But the boy comes at 4 o'clock, the mother comes at 6 o'clock, the father comes at 7 o'clock, and they go home and they come back, they take out their car again for shopping. That is 1 trip additional every family does. But suppose Seawoods station is there, everybody will come to Seawoods station, wait for their family members or do the shopping there and then go home. Now the trip which was getting generated when they were going back to home and coming back for their shopping needs and whatever entertainment needs, That is cancelled. So the transport is avoided itself. That is how we reduce the amount of traffic on the roads. That is one of the best methodologies to have. Then second is shift. What is shift? Shift is attracting people. Bus number 123. Have you ever traveled by that bus? If somebody was traveling like 2011-12 में जब travel किया, that was a boon for everybody. Every car owner was going to BKC or to Mumbai by car, and the moment he got bus number 123, it was an air-conditioned travel. It was also taking 2.5 hours to reach BKC. Now you make the public transport so attractive that people shift from their private transport to public transport. Our railway stations of Navi Mumbai are the same examples. Suppose Navi Mumbai ke stations pe, you know how much cars are parked at Kharghar railway station? 650 cars and more than 3,000 two-wheelers are parked at Kharghar railway station, that too on the deck of the station, without using any single square meter of the additional land required. Nowhere in the country people thought about it, and CITCO did that. Why we did that? Because we wanted people to attract to public transport. We wanted not picking up their cars, taking the Vashi bridge or Aerol bridge or Kalwa bridge earlier and go to Mumbai, travel for their jobs. Instead of that, they should get attracted to railways. You know, I have a car, I'll just go and park the car if I have parking at the railway station. So giving parking in the shopping mall or in the streets of the country or the cities is, it's completely different. If you give parking at railway stations, people will be attracted to public transport. That is the main mode of transport. That is why that is called shift. And the last approach is improve. City में on street parking देना. You keep on cursing the government, कि यार parking नहीं है यार, देना ही नहीं है हमको. That is how we do the demand management. Keep the on street parking cost to 200 rupees per hour. That is how we discourage. That is the policy. That is not inconvenience. That inconvenience has to be created so that you don't take out your car out of your homes. But parallelly, we should be giving as better transport, public transport as possible to our citizens. That's the principle. Again, we come back to how do we travel. We saw ASI methodology, and after that, while coming back to how do we travel, the next important question is how do we travel in terms of modes, which mode we usually do. Now we are coming to our topic slowly. The mode trip or the mode share, trip share, it means how Mumbai travels. This is how Mumbai travels. The whole MMR region. For people who don't know what is MMR, Mumbai Metropolitan Region, which starts from Virar and ends up to Alibag. It is 6,000 square kilometers, including more than 8 municipal corporations, which our Navi Mumbai is also part of. So this is how Mumbai travels. Almost 43% people travel by train, and that is more than 7.5 million. 75 lakh people travel by train. Taxi is 4.2%, auto rickshaw is 13%, 14% of two-wheelers, 6% of car, and 1% metro, 16% is bus. This is how the quantum of travel is. Now, how much do we travel? Now you see, a study was done in 2017, the report got published in 2021. This is one of the most important reports. If you want to understand the transportation part of the whole of MMR region, this report is the Bible of it. It's called Comprehensive Transport Study of MMR region. Every 10 years, Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority, along with all 8 municipal corporations, does a study and try to understand how the travel is getting modified. This conference is about, technologies for future. But I would say technology doesn't mean always digitization or machines. It's about a smart approach towards solving the problems of the society. Right? So technologies are tools, and our tools should be clear enough what are we doing and why are we building a 19,000 crore rupees bridge. One bridge is costing us 19,000 crore rupees. It's really fascinating if you try to understand the number of zeros it is involved with. Our airport, Navi Mumbai airport, is costing us 19,000 crore rupees. One complete airport is 19,000 crore rupees, and one single bridge is costing us 19,000 crore rupees. You can imagine the quantum of the importance of that bridge also. So in 2005, how Mumbai was traveling, even after getting smart, all work from home, everything is true, but this is the fact. By train, we used to travel 26 kilometers on an average, every person. Average trip length is 26 kilometers in 2005, and in 2017, it has gone up by 4 kilometers, that is 30 kilometers. People come from Nashik, Pune, Kasara daily to their jobs in Mumbai. So the average length traveled by a person by train is 30 kilometers. You must be traveling from Belapur to Panvel. Somebody must be traveling from Nashik to Mumbai. So the average comes down to this much. And that average has also increased. What does that mean? The urban sprawl is happening. People are ready to stay away from their jobs almost say 1.5 hours from their daily routine. One of my colleagues' daughter, she works in Manhattan in New York, and she changes 2 trains, and it takes 1.5 hours for her to reach to her jobs. She lives in New Jersey. So people are ready to travel for their jobs. And that's not new to Mumbai. By bus, you can see the travel length has increased so much. Metro, of course, it was not there in 2005. So 2017, that one single line which Warsaw Andheri Ghatkopar came up, that's that line. Rickshaw also, it has doubled. People are ready to pay. Two-wheelers, you can see the length of travel of two-wheeler is doubled. That's very much fascinating. That was not expected by our planners in Mumbai region, because Mumbai is not a city of two-wheelers. Pune it is. If you see the mode share of Pune, once upon a time Pune was 78% travelers were on two-wheelers. Now they are 68%. People who will be regularly visiting Pune since last 20 years, they have seen the number of two-wheelers have reduced on the streets. The size of the streets are same, but cars have come up instead of that, and it's really a hell over there now. Similarly, car, it has increased from 13 kilometers to 16.5 kilometers. So we know now how do we travel, and how much do we travel. Now we'll come down again to our suburban rail. So if you see the last slide, why I have chosen 3 generations of railway station, because that is the maximum we travel. The average trip length of a person, 7.5 million, that is 75 lakh people travel, or say now it has increased to even 100 lakhs, are traveling by train. When I was asked, Avinash, whether you want to work on airport project or a railway project, I always chose a railway project and airport road connectivity project. Why? Because whenever somebody asked me, one of my senior IAS officers once asked, Avinash, you are very much proud about your transportation infrastructure in Navi Mumbai. Why is it so? What is the powerhouse of Mumbai? It's railways. But in Navi Mumbai, not only railway, the railway stations are also the strength of Navi Mumbai. And what is that uniqueness of our Navi Mumbai railway stations? Suppose a person sitting in Kurla or Dadar, exactly 7 a.m. he gets up, and a person in Belapur or Nerul or anywhere in Navi Mumbai, he gets up at 7 a.m. He wants to travel by train by equal distance. That person in Mumbai is having lesser 15 minutes with his family compared to the person in Belapur. Why so? Because VT, I was talking about, right? बहुत बढ़िया station है. How do you reach VT station? हमने स्टेशन बहुत बढ़िया बना लिया, आपको कैसा पहुंचना है वो आप देख लो. Every bus, every Mercedes car comes onto the road, आपको रोड पे उतरना पड़ता है to access the great Victoria Terminus station. Is it a good planning? If you go to Kharghar station, your car goes to the deck of the station, that comfort it gives. ये टाइम का इंपॉर्टेंस, 9:33 का ट्रेन 9:33 को स्टेशन पे पहुंच के कैच कर सकता है नवी मुंबई का बंदा. That's not possible for any person. And that 15 minutes of confidence which he spends with his family, having a tea with his family, spending more time. Why are we required? What is our real job of city planners? To make life comfortable for the citizens. And if you are not focusing on that scientifically, then there is no meaning of your great grand planning. Even if you land on the eastern side or western side, wherever, your bus won't go inside the railway station of Dadar or Kurla or any other station in generation 1. Right? You can see this. Now let's come back to what the quantum of railways we are looking at. So the unique point of our station is that we give parking. Our bus, our rickshaw, every mode of transport goes inside the railway station to give access and attain public transport in his choice. So we are looking at the quantum, 390 kilometers of length we are having suburban rail. Daily trains are 2,340. This is the most fascinating fact I always quote about. Can you imagine more than 7.5 million, that is 75 lakh people use daily railways in Mumbai, which is 40% of the whole country's travel by Indian Railways. This is daily. That is yearly. Can you imagine the quantum, what this suburban rail is handling in Mumbai? And it's almost 169 years old. Now one small quiz, शायद थोड़ा बहुत किसी को नींद आ रही होगी तो. Can anyone guess how many railway stations we have in MMR region? So let's have a vote. 178 के लिए हाथ ऊपर करिए. How many people think there are 178 railway stations in Mumbai region? One person. How many people think that there are 98 railway stations in Mumbai? 1, 2, 3, 5 plus 5, 10, and almost 15 people think. Oh, sorry. How many people think 150 railway stations are there in Mumbai? I know 99% would be guessing, but still, at least guess. So there are not more than 7 people who think 150. And 129 के लिए? Oh, Google करके आए हो क्या? So 178 is wrong. 98 is wrong. 129 is wrong. There are only 7 people. So just fun fact: there are 150 railway stations in our, suburban network, which includes under construction 7-8 railway stations, which we are doing it up to Uran. Now, when I was talking about Mumbai railway station, generation 1 railway stations. So Dadar is an example. I have already told you ki how many people do access Dadar station. What is the maximum number of railway station footfall on a railway station in Mumbai region? Thane has surpassed CST. More than 6.5 lakh people every day use Thane railway station, and more than 6.2 lakh people use 6.4 lakh people use CST railway station. Thane has surpassed it. That is how we understand. The big data tells us that the city is moving outskirts now. People are using different railway stations than the VT station. Now VT is not the area which gives you jobs only. There are other areas which gives you job. Andheri, one of the most crowded railway stations, it had 7 hectares of area, but no comfort for the multimodal integration. Similarly, Mumbai railway stations, that is CST. This area marked in yellow shows you is a 5 hectare land lying plain empty. They have done nothing for welcoming the buses or any mode of transport inside it. Such a big railway station, but such a poor integration planning. Now comes to Kalyan, an intermediate station. Now if you go, anybody from Kalyan? Yeah. So now Kalyan has a good amount of two-wheeler parking. You can take your vehicle to Kalyan, park your vehicle and come. So that's again a little bit. But अगर आपको auto rickshaw लेना है, तो उसी सब्जी वाले road पे लेना पड़ता है, right? It's a fight to catch a auto rickshaw over there. And auto rickshaw people also face the same problem. They don't have any space for them. Then comes the Thane station. We are slowly moving, we are improving in terms of integration. Thane station, like I think 7-8 years. Anybody from Thane here? Thane West? Yeah. So you must be observing Thane West, like 7-8 years back, they separated the all modes of transport from the bus. उन्होंने एक deck बनाया and decided that this deck area will be only used by bus. The life of Thane West people have been a boon since then. Otherwise, it was total hell over there. Now, the IPT mode, the intermediate para-transit mode. What is that mode? Auto rickshaw and taxi. Public transport, para-transit, that is intermediate public transport, and then private transport. So, they segregated this. Bus को ऊपर लेके गए, auto rickshaw को नीचे रखा, bikes के लिए entry दिया, car के लिए बंद किया. Again, not the best station in terms of integration, but a little bit improvement. Now let's see one more fact. What is the difference between your harbour line, your central line and western line? Now this data of 2017 says it all. Number of accidents in Western Line, and this is yearly. So almost more than 3,000 people die every day. Oh, sorry, not every day, in a year. So that's almost 10 people die every day in these suburban lines. That's a dangerous fact. But if you see in Harbour Line, anybody remembers that Elphinstone Road's haphazard? Kya hua tha? And why did it happen? Because of the width of the bridge. Because of the width of the stairs was very less, not planned and executed hundreds of years ago, not improved on the base of demand. One more important point, I think I can have some silence. Thank you. So what happened at the Elphinstone Road was a very sorry state of affair. It cannot happen in Navi Mumbai because of the double discharge platform. If anybody new person comes to Mumbai, everybody asks the one question: station कौन से side में आने वाला है? Once you cross Vashi, you keep on asking that to somebody कि station किस side में आएगा? अभी भी वो पूछते हैं. Not a regular commuter, but this happens with every newcomer. But in Mumbai, you don't have to. Navi Mumbai, you don't have to ask that. That's a double discharge platform system, so that the load gets distributed. It was a very simple technique. कुछ उसमें rocket science नहीं था. I understand there was a space requirement was huge in Navi Mumbai. We had space, that's why we do it. But even after having a lot many space, even VT doesn't have that on every track, right? This is generation 2, Vashi railway station. This was built by my seniors, and I think one of your faculty members, Suman Wadkar ma'am, is here. Her husband was working on Nehru railway station. So they must be understanding what did they build. You can see the quantum. The station itself is 10 hectares. Dadar is almost of similar size, but Dadar में intercity trains भी आती है. Even after there are only suburban trains coming to Vashi railway station, the quantum of the station, the size of the station is 10 hectares. You know, recently railways was in discussion with private parties to sell the Pune railway station. Sell in the sense the airspace used to be sold. If you compare the size of Pune railway station, you compare the size of Vashi railway station, our Vashi station is bigger than Pune railway station. And only suburban trains come here, not even the interstate or intercity trains come here. That is the willingness, that is the thought process, that is the vision wherein transport infra is introduced. If you see any city planner, if any B planning, M planning guy is here, अगर किसी भी city में पूरे city को अगर area allocation किया गया, तो it's only 15% of land which is allocated to transport infrastructure. In Navi Mumbai, it is much more than 20-25%. So that is the power of a transportation department or the thought process behind it, and that is how you empower citizens or a common man. You see, this is the typical plan of a Vashi railway station, and that yellow portion, yellow hatch, is actually the railway area, and equally almost about 0.5 hectares of land, or say 5 hectares of land is reserved for two-wheeler parking, four-wheeler parking, auto rickshaw, and taxis, eateries, and all that, so that people have an experience of everything they need at the railway station itself. So this is generation 2. Now comes Kharghar again is generation 2, wherein if you see Belapur's bus depot, the size of Belapur's bus depot is not more than 2.5 thousand, or say 2,500 square meters for a bus depot. But the bus depot inside Kharghar railway station is of 5,000 square meters, double the normal bus depot or the bus terminus. Why I am talking about the quantum? Because that is the amount of infrastructure planning was done and quantification was done. No standards in the country were supporting this. But still, CIDCO went ahead. CIDCO is a torch bearer. CIDCO doesn't wait for the government norms and the minimum requirements and all. It has a very much visionary planning. But times have changed. Now we can't spread like anything. Even the stations has to be smartly planned. That is generation 3. So generation 1 we saw was thinking about only the railway station inside and the commute when it starts after people board the railway. Generation 2 is about how we bring people to the railway station comfortably with their personal transport, with public transport inside the railway station, so that the guy easily boards the train. That is generation 2, which happened from say 1990s up to 2015. Now this is Bamandongri station. This is the case study part which I was talking about. Bamandongri station, if anybody knows, is in Ulve. It's a new line of the Mumbai rail network, the Nerul-Uran railway line, you call it, or the CST-Uran railway line. This station is the station which I personally was involved in designing 2 times. In 2018, we were planning to execute a station and the plan was ready. This was the plan almost implemented. The plan was very much similar to the grand railway stations, so like Vashi, Kharghar and all. It was on the same lines. So we thought like having a grand station is important and let's have it. So what was it? This 0.45 hectares, that is 4,500 square meters of bus stop was planned. Yet the plan was grand, giving priority to buses, public transport as a feeder system to the main mode of transport as suburban travel. Second half, or the second small part, was almost 2,500 square meters, which was dedicated to IPT. First is PT, that is public transport. Second is IPT, that is intermediate paratransit or public transport, that is auto rickshaw and taxis. And then on this side, phase 1 and phase 2 for 2-wheeler and 4-wheeler parkings. Again, the station was being planned in a grand manner. I have written the title as the Bamandongri station 2018-20 plan. This was planned in 18, executed in 2020. But the transformation, I want you to observe minutely. If you see the history, this is a Google Earth software, I hope somebody knows it. And if you see the history of the imagery, satellite imagery, there you can see 3/2020. So that's actually the satellite image date. You can see this is the factual image of Bamandongri station. And what happened? This was the plan actually. This is the a CAD plan of what I've shown the Google imagery. This is almost 4.2 thousand square meters of the bus stop. Then the typical auto rickshaw, taxi, parking and parking. Grand parking, huge amount of parking available, planned and all. But what happened in 2020 or 2019? We got a mandate that there is to be a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana near the railway station, and we had to cut down our area from whatever we had to half and still plan the equivalent facility for public transport. That was a huge challenge. There was a huge opposition from our department that no, it's not possible, it will be like taking space from public. हमने कुर्ला से नवी मुंबई बनाया, आप उसको वापस वहाँ लेके जा रहे हो. That's not good and all. But challenges are the opportunity, right? And luck is what, just being prepared and the opportunity comes. So this is bus, this is IPT, this is parking. This was there in 2020. So now we'll see the transformation of Bamandongri station itself as a generation 3 railway station. What is generation 3 now? How are we saying we are building a station which is better than Vashi, better than Kharghar, in terms of facility as well as in terms of land saving, which is a win-win situation for government as well as public. That was a huge challenge, cutting down an area, cutting down your budget, not budget, but cutting down your area to half and still achieve the facilities. This happened and this is ready now. 2023, within 3 years, there was a mandate आपको वहाँ पे more than 5,500 flats बनाने हैं. So equally our housing department was working on it, and we were literally crushed by area to accommodate all transport facilities only in this belt. If you see the previous image, this is the area. Can you see the transformation? I would like to show you the transformation. See, this is in 2019 or 2020. This is Ulve 30-meter road or 6-lane road. This is a 6-lane road, and this is already built. Now this has to be converted to this, and still have all the facilities for it. It was a huge challenge for us. But we took it, and what we did is simple ASI methodology, and what we planned is this. I understand it's a very complex drawing. It's very difficult for me to show you the detailed drawing of it. So what we did is, this is that road which we were given as a boundary, and what we did is we used the length of the railway station and the buffer area of railway station to give all the facilities. Now how do I claim that is this is generation 3 of the railway stations? Because we always think in terms of pedestrian travel. When I say that this is a very scientific planning, so Vashi station is grand, right? We came up with an idea that any two-wheeler guy who parks his two-wheeler 230 meters away from the station or the platform area and then takes a train. So that 230-meter walk after he parks his vehicle is a huge walk. The problem was we didn't have space, so we converted that as into our opportunity. And now this station, any person who comes to the station, the farthest person will not have to walk more than 110 meters and will not have to cross a single meter of road to use any transport facility for going into his job or his home. Anybody from Belapur CBD side, anybody has got down? If you go to Belapur on the CBD side, whenever you come out as a pedestrian, even after SIDCO's good planning, there is one mistake in Belapur's planning, or say observation of our experience, that the cars or the auto rickshaws come cut your travel. And when you are in an auto rickshaw, you will curse the pedestrian. When you are a pedestrian, you will curse the rickshaw guy. They are cutting our travel time. Now, the smartness of this design is, if you see, this is the subway where you come out. This is the other subway. When you come out of the subway, rickshaw is there on the footpath side. You don't have to cross the plaza of the station at all. And all these facilities are on the railway station side. And we prioritize in such a way that, now what is the preferred mode of choice? हमने देखा कि how do we travel and all. But what is the preferred mode? It depends on the distance. तो हमको पता चला कि auto rickshaw is the most favorite mode of transport once you get down from the station. That is why exactly at the mouth of the subway, when you come out of the station, you will find auto rickshaws. And we learned from Thane the double discharge or the triple discharge system of auto rickshaws. If you see the previous plan, auto rickshaw का plan आपने देखा यहाँ पे, this is how rickshaws were supposed to maneuver like a snake. But this reduces time, increases time for catching a auto rickshaw, and also the fuel requirement and all. So that micro level planning was done, and we went from that serpent-like movement only to a lay-by kind of a thing. Rickshaws will come. What they usually do is they stand in front of the platform or the railway station footpath and they pick you up. But if you give them what they want, but with proper planning, this is what the output comes to. Again, the Kharga station, the Vashi station, the area and the quantum of the railways or the bus stop was 5,000 square meters and all. But this, with 2,000 square meters, the area reduced by 60%, still has 7 bus queue shelters compared to Vashi and Belapur, which has 5 or 6 bus queue shelters. One bus queue shelter increased where the charging can happen. Now we have electric buses, but we use the length of it. And again, now the travel pattern has changed. We placed the taxi at 110 meters. Today, the most not preferred mode of transport when your travel is less than 4 kilometer is taxi. Who does taxi travel by today? We have Ola, Uber, which will come to your drop-off area and then will pick you up. So that is why we kept taxi as far as possible. We have to keep it, we can't skip that. That is why we kept it here. So this blue portion is the multi-level car park for private transport. Here there is taxi, which the blow up of the taxi is here. Second is the bicycle, which is again very close to the subway. These are the two places wherein people will come out of. And exactly iske samne we have auto rickshaw 1, auto rickshaw 2. And on one side we have bus stop. And none of the person will have to cross this road to take any of the facilities. And we have built one central plaza which is 7-meter wide, which passes through the whole area and even crosses the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or the 5,000 houses and goes to the SEZ, where we imagine that jobs will be created and people would prefer to walk this 450 meters of length. So that is how the generation 3 stations are being planned, by reducing the area not by technology but by the approach of it. We have tried to give a more detailed blow up. I hope now you appreciate. This is that single discharge auto rickshaw, double discharge auto rickshaw. These are the stairs where you come out of from Bamandongri station. This is that single central plaza which you will be crossing. The double discharge auto rickshaw setup is like this. Now buses are like this, and taxis. And we also have private drop-off areas. These areas will be used for private vehicle drop-off. You drop your sister, your father, your son and all that. You drop at your stations, right? So now let's see the comparison. What we have actually achieved in all these years. At Vashi station, where we required almost 6 hectares of area for forecourt or for multimodal integration, then came the Bamandongri 1, that is generation 3, but 2018. We had consumed almost 7 hectares area on both sides of the railway station, which cut down to 3.5 hectares on both sides. Even after constructing a multi-level car park, we were saving 65 crore rupees. So even after constructing a 25 crore rupees building, we were saving 65 crore rupees because the land value is huge. It costs almost 1.5 lakh rupees per square meter in Navi Mumbai to buy the land. This is what the rates we are getting, from 1.5 lakh rupees per square meter to up to 6 lakh rupees per square meter. Similarly, Bamandongri is 2, I have told you, and Kharkopar is one more station. Now Kharkopar station would be the most attractive station of Navi Mumbai because the MTHL lands in front of Kharkopar station. And the most unique station we'll be having is Targhar, which is the gateway to airport. And the next generation railway stations, just a glimpse of that station planning is this. You can imagine that side it's an airport, and it will be the Targhar station will be the entry to the airport, and there will be a metro station inside the Targhar station. Like we are having a Belapur railway station, we are having a metro station inside the forecourt area of the station, right? And if you are coming from Mumbai, you will be coming from this side, and you will be entering here, and will be going into the airport. So this is under construction. This is the latest project we are working on. I hope this presentation was informative enough, and I think I'm on time. If you have any questions, please, I will be really, yes. Yes. Panvel railway station, sir asked about any plans for Panvel railway station. There's only one foot bridge to cross. I do really appreciate, you know that. Panvel railway station will be the most modified station in days to come, because the dedicated freight corridor is crossing the station in level 2, And also the platforms are being planned to increase from, I think today they have 13, right? Or 8. So it will be increased to almost 17 or 15. We are still struggling for 2 platforms. So that huge change is going to come. But of course, like Mumbai people are suffering from metro construction, we are in a period wherein Navi Mumbai, especially Panvel area, is under construction. I would really assure you that this project is being taken up in coordination with the railways department, and it is going to change like anything. You have all the crossings possible, like we have in other stations of Navi Mumbai. There's one more question from there. Yes, ma'am.
Where is this Targar exactly?
Targa station
The Targar
is,
station.
yeah, I'll show you.
Which would be
It's-
the entry point to the airport.
Yeah, everybody is interested to.
Yes, that's a very.
This is Targa station. Almost the station part is ready.
No, is it towards Ulve side or?
Yeah, it
that
is.
way?
If you
Where?
cross this Panvel Creek Bridge, this is your NMMC headquarters.
Okay.
If everybody knows what is the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation's headquarters, it's in Belapur here. You cross the bridge, and here is the station, and airport entry will be here.
Okay, thanks.
So people who will be living in Ulve will be living almost 2 kilometers away from the airport, and people living in Belapur are almost say 3 kilometers away from the airport entry. This is the airport entry. Sir.
Let me feel sorry first of all. Don't take it otherwise, please.
Of course, sir, please.
The first and foremost request from my side. In the beginning of your talk, you have mentioned that we are praising the plans of Britishers and all. We should keep praising the plans of Britishers. This is what is my opinion. I may be wrong, but we must keep praising the plans of Britishers, because over the period we are also going to become 150 years old, and maybe generation then will start cursing us. So we must change our approach. We must appreciate the efforts of our ancestors, for sure.
Agreed, sir.
So whatever the Britishers have done 150 years ago must have been planned with a capacity of maybe 50 years or 100 years, not more than that. With the growth of the city, with whatever the folds they have imagined. We all have realized that in previous maybe 15 years, the growth rate of every city has increased beyond the imagination. Okay, and this growth rate will go on increasing in future also. So 150 years was the time plan for us, and we are maybe not in a mood of praising the thought process of Britishers or our ancestors, but I am sure we might get the same, I cannot say scolding, but same kind of comments about us in our lifetime itself. I am sure about that.
That
Okay.
we still get that.
Yeah.
We have already got it a lot of times.
Yeah, because the generation gap time earlier, 10 years back, was about 25 to 30 years.
And
Now the generation gap is seen, clearly visible, clearly seen even between two childs. If there is a gap of about 3 or 4 years, the younger child, the way of behavior of younger child is different and the elder child is different. That is what is the magic of time, I can say. So this is one thing. Another thing, I really appreciate SIDCO, because I am living in Navi Mumbai since last almost 15 years, and whatever the things means, if I talk about Panvel, new Panvel railway station itself, what we used to see in 2006-7 when we started commuting from other parts of Navi Mumbai to Panvel for our job purpose, the things around the station were beyond imagination. अरे यार इतना जगह क्यों छोड़ा है? But now in last 2-3 years we have realized that what was the plan of railways. So salute to the transport engineers and city builders that they have long-term plans in their mind. Of course your presentation was very wonderful. I was never imagined that these are the kind of things the city planners have to think. Thank you so much for your enlightening talk and giving us a new food for our brains to think about when it comes to CIDCO. Thank you so much.
Sir, there are lots of like great efforts being taken, and the term you mentioned like avoid, shift and improve. I'm just wondering, every year we are changing the platform floors and we are saying we are avoiding. I don't understand the meaning of avoid, because every year the floors of the platforms are being changed. So the quality of the platforms that are being made, these are just one example. I'm using this Panvel railway station for last 27 years. Since my graduation I'm using it. Since then there is only one bridge. So I'm just wondering if this is not under CIDCO or what. That is one thing. And as sir mentioned on the similar line, I think if Britishers would have been here for longer time, the transformation would have been even better. So because even if you mentioned about the Kalyan, I stay in Kalyan, there are bridges without steps, if you see angle. Even in today's time, such bridges when are made, the angle is incorrect. So I do not understand, because lockdown was recently, so I can't blame engineers as well because of lockdown. So I don't understand the material being used. I don't understand, I mean, I don't know whether you are directly connected to this question, but you said avoid. Every year the road is being deconstructed. So I don't understand why we can't make a road which lasts for 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, or can we make a platform which lasts for 50 years, 100 years, every years we, dig it and then make it. So I don't understand, the technology is improving, why does this material is improving, where this money goes altogether. And even routes are keep changing every year. No, I'm not trying
Agreed,
to ask
sir.
question like all frustrations on you.
No.
But there are so many great things are being happen. I already mentioned. But I'm just wondering that every year the roads are being made. Again, that question will repeat. But what is the
I
reason
think we
behind
will
that?
have to cut it short. I got your point, sir. Sorry to cut you down. To answer in very much short, like I told you, you already answered my two answers, which you said like CIDCO is not involved in Panvel station inside the boundary of railway platforms and all that. Second is you asked about the roads being reconstructed or repaired so frequently. Everybody here, you live in Panvel 27 years since. So have you ever traveled on Palm Beach Road? In Palm Beach Road's history of 20 years now, 2003 में वो complete हुआ था, 2002 में. So since then, or say 23 years, there were only 8 potholes in all 23 years. Why so? ऐसा कुछ है क्या सिडको का मूड नहीं है तो ये रोड अच्छा बनाया वो रोड अच्छा नहीं बनाया? The reason is on Palm Beach Road not a single truck is allowed. It's on a public forum. I can't go into those reasons wherein I hope if there was a civil engineer I would explain in very simple terms. In civil engineering term, suppose a truck is allowed on a road. The load allowed is 18 tons. And the load distribution, I think mechanical engineer, mechanics में था अपने को, right? If you appreciate. The load distribution of a truck's tire, that load distribution diagram, that distributes, it goes exponentially. And if you increase that load by 2 tons, which is not more than 10% or 12% of the total load allowed, the effect is exponential. And when it is more than 40 and 50 tons, and in India, what is happening, I'll tell you.
Sir, actually, this is not my question. The answer you are giving is not my question.
You asked about the redigging of the roads, right? That was also one of your questions.
That is not my question. See, for example, does truck comes on the railway station?
No, platform, that was one other question I answered. Now you asked about roads, so I was separating two
I'll
answers.
simplify my question. railway station platform is digged every year just to change the floor? That is the simple question.
Okay, so we'll not talk about roads then. Fine, I understand, sir. This platform repair work going on, and I'll be not be in a position because that completely belongs to railways department. And we are, and again I told you, my specific job as a transportation engineer or planner was to tell how much and what to build to civil engineers. So I'll not be in a position to talk about the material and the quality of the construction. I am the person to tell them how much wide they have to build and where they have to build, the alignment of the metro station. And if you come to me in person, if you come to CITCO in person, we'll definitely try to make you understand why these things happens. I hope that answers partially.
It's true. It's okay, sir. Yeah. Hello. My name is Prashant. Actually, it's a very wonderful talk you give on the planning for transportation. I have a small query about a few things. First, really, can we think or can we plan for more than 5 years?
So this
What
plan
is your
for 30
opinion?
years.
No, that is true. But practically, it is possible to plan for next 5 years.
I understand the thing which I started with, actually, how uncertain the world is, and still we say that we are planning for 30 years.
Yes.
We have an experience, sir. That is why we need scientific researchers who understand the demand and the behavior. Sometimes the design has to be so smart that people will be compelled to use what you design, and by that way you can predict the behavior of a traveler for next 20-30 years. And sometimes it's a circular economy.
Yeah, I understand.
This is what is available.
Yeah, I understand, sir, because there are so many minute and small things which are working around the planning. But why I am asking this question, because the technology and integration of technology is very huge. The 5G is not properly installed, and now 6G in doorstep. And as per 6G, the cut down of transportation is 40 to 50%. They are claiming like that, because there is no need to go outside from the home. And at that time, this huge infrastructure, whatever we are creating, where there is technology will be in different part. And even if you are you are from CITCO person, I must tell you just fact. The moment somebody create road, that within 10 days, the people come to cut it down for fiber optics.
Correct.
So even that is a lack of planning. Okay.
If you allow me to answer, if you allow me to answer these two questions, sir is talking about the uncertainty of planning. That's first part, and second part is CITCO or any organization builds the road and then next day the fiber optic guy comes and cuts the road. I hope that's it. So first thing, sir, when I showed you this slide, I hope I'm connected. So when we do this comprehensive transport study, it is a study of it's a study of almost 10 years, and we do socio-economic study and the financial part. Because psychology is involved, the road is designed in such a way, the stations are designed in the way that human psychology won't change for many years, sir. And we really understand, we are also having a thought that 15 years down the line, we may not require roads only, because everybody will be magnetic leviation में अगर आप fly कर रहे हो तो road quality का मतलब ही नहीं रहता, because not touching the road. So how much to invest in roads is also again a thought process. Americans are very much unpopular for public transport. They are car oriented society. So they have, if you want to take a U-turn, you may have to go to up to 7 kilometers or 8, 10 kilometers. In India, you can't do that. Europe, they are also a transit oriented development. Bogota or Curitiba, in 40 years of history, Today, they take 40,000 PHPDT, that is per person per direction. That is the demand their buses carry. In India, metros can't carry more than 25,000. So the attitude and approach of a civilization or a community won't change immediately. That is why 30 years will be definitely having whatever transport is provided can manage those things, and we are still understanding that there are challenges wherein tomorrow kal ko ho sakta hai within 1 or 2 years we'll have flying cars, and then there won't be any requirement of roads. That challenge we also understand, but we can't plan for that. We have to plan for what is inevitable. Second part of the road digging, that is a very classic example. I have seen it very closely, I'll tell you, because I was the person giving permissions for that road diggings. What used to happen, I'll tell you. Now CIDCO goes and plans, or any organization goes and plans some area. We don't have Pune, but we have Navi Mumbai. We have roads, we plan roads and we keep it ready for public. But when we go and tell the optic guys before rebuilding the roads, or the gas guys, that please come and lay your lines because we are going to lay roads tomorrow, they will say, sir, we don't have customer there. They are private companies. They will not invest for 5 years or 7 years. They want to come when you build the road, then people go and buy the flat, and then people go and accommodate the houses, and then they have a demand of internet and gas. They don't have, people are not there. MGL or Airtel or any other company, not to name anyone, won't come unless and until people are there. So that's a murgi ya anda pehle. So if you want to sell houses, we need to give roads. अगर सिडको में ही अगर किसी ने को बोला कि आपको घर दे दिया है, रोड नहीं मिलेगा, you will blame सिडको. And when we go to these optic agencies and then pipelines, water pipelines, these societies cut the road and take water pipelines after the completion of the society. So this is the circle. 1.5 lakh rupees per square meter is the value of the land. It is a financial decision whether to leave space for that. Now again, on a public forum, I can't tell you, but that's a fact, that when a 15-meter road is planned, 0.5 meter is kept as a soft verge, but that is sometimes taken up by one single society. Now if I want to lay a fiber optic cable, I have to go 300 meters, and one society occupies that area, I can't go further. I have to break the footpath. So even if one person falters, even having good intentions of CIDCO, all our 30-meter roads, we have a footpath of 3.5 meters, drain are 2.5, 1 meter is specifically assigned for our utility lines. But still, our own sister companies, like even the electric MSCDCL companies, dig the road without permission sometimes, and nobody asks CIDCO. This is, you can't blame leaders or governments all the time. I represent government, that doesn't mean I should advocate, but that's a fact. We grow as a society. I always tell my friends, people come to me because my job profile is all major roads. So builders, people, my friends come to me and ask me, Avinash, where should I buy a flat, because you know how the city is going to grow, where it's going to grow. I always tell them, you can give 5 crore rupees and buy a infrastructure flat, but you can't buy a neighbor. And it is important that your kid is having tea or playing football with whom? We grow as society, sir. And we are the people who eat vegetables from that truck only, which is already overloaded, planned by a transportation planner, executed by engineer, road permission given by RTO office, and controlled by traffic police. No, CIDCO is not meant for that. CIDCO is not a helicopter body. CIDCO don't have rights to even plan parking. CIDCO doesn't have rights on roads. It's RTO. That is what Gadkari Saab was telling. That is why he doesn't want, this separated permissions. In US or in developed countries, they have DOT, Department of Transportation. The same department gives license for you to drive on the road. The same department penalizes for you, and the same department plans and executes the roads. Under that. That is why the control is over there. A planner is planning the road, engineer is building the road, but the permission to drive the truck on the road is given by RTO. And the traffic police is standing on the junction and he doesn't know traffic engineering. He is saying, laga do 15 second ka signal. That is why initially I told you, role of transportation engineers, we are not there in the country. People like us should be there in every municipal corporation to guide the municipal corporation to have this parking problem solved. And the problem of this is, when I studied in IIT Bombay, there were only 6 colleges who used to teach transportation engineering as PG course. And just to note down, our college is so much strength and you don't have a PG in transportation. Right? Such a strong organization, still we don't teach. If we don't teach how to plan, who are we asking to? Right? So that's my answer. I think I am taking the time of some other talk, please.
Just a thought to this.
I'm available
Just
all
only
the
2 minutes.
time,
2
so you
minutes.
can-
Yeah, just last question. Yeah. So just a thought to this fiber optics line. So can't we have something kind of concealed pipes where we are putting in the buildings for electric purposes?
How do you reach the building?
No. Just a thought. A similar application to this one. So can't we have a hollow concrete pipes kind of thing previously laid when we are trying to
We
construct
have
the
tried
road?
in Kharghar, sir is right. We have tried in Kharghar in front of Golf Course. In
Haan.
Baman Dongri station, actually I didn't want it to quote because unless an intel is implemented, I don't.
A network of such lines can be prepared, and whoever wants to actually have it, just there to insert it. No need of digging the road.
The cost of that duct is 10,000 rupees per running meter. And if I ask this to a fiber optics company to give it back to us, nobody is giving. Instead of
Okay.
that, they will go to some higher authorities, and in fact, in the name of digitization of the country, they'll cut down the prices. Who will invest that money to dig a duct along the length of the road, which is costing almost equivalent to the width of the road?
Okay.
So that is some financial issues also are there.
Okay.
Problem might be different in coming years, because yesterday one expert was talking about metaverse, and in that he was talking about
No need of travel.
no need of traveling at all.
Yes.
In due course of time, problem might be
Like sir said, that's one challenge. Like no need, but still we will be traveling for some other reasons. I think I am really overwhelmed by the questions, and thanks for asking questions. Thank you very much. Oh.
Okay, so thank you, sir, for your enlightening talk. Now I request Dr. Amey Marathe to felicitate Mr. Shabade. Moving to the next session, for the fifth plenary talk, we have with us Mr. B.K. Sethuraman, Managing Director, Selini Corporation. He will be dealing with the topic, Advanced and Sustainable Engineered Plastics for Future Cities. I request Dr. Tusharika Banerjee to introduce him.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Sethu or Bellur Krishnamurthy Sethu Raman from Selini Corporation is the Managing Director for Selini India, with responsibility of charting a profitable growth path for Selini in India. He and his team are committed to catalyzing usage of engineering plastics and specialty chemicals in a wide spectrum of end-use markets and working with customers to develop innovative solutions in emerging segments like 5G, advanced mobility, medical devices, and sustainability. Before joining Selini, Sethu sir spent 14 years with Dow Chemical and Rome and Haas, where he held various sales, marketing, country and business leadership responsibilities in the Asia Pacific region. Sethu sir has a BTech in chemical engineering from IIT Madras, an MS from Clarkson University, USA, and an MBA from Sasson School of Business, a Kellogg-Wharton program. He is also a certified CEO coach from Coaching Foundation of India, a partner at Social Venture Partners, and member of the Selini Global Diversity and Inclusion Council. It's a privilege, and I feel very happy to welcome you, Sethu sir, on the stage once again. Thank you very much.
Sure, that'd be good. Pointer भी है क्या? मेरी याद हुई क्या? Color mic हाथ दे देना please. तो ये भी. This is also okay. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Right. Yeah, thanks for all of you to come here, and thank you to the organizers of this conference. A very important theme, I must say, that has bearing for all of us, and to actually arrange a conference like this in a university where all of you are kind of charting your futures, I think is so appropriate and very nice. Thanks to Avinash for setting the stage. Fascinating. I mean, I didn't know so much about what goes on behind the scenes in transportation and the challenges you face. So thank you for that. As I talk about materials, I mean, you know, it's a very large canvas. It's very difficult for me in 20-25 minutes to cover everything. So I'm going to take slices of it and illustrate how materials are going to play a big role in the way we look at our future cities. So National Geographic, if you see on the left, came up with this pointers. Ah, it's right here. Ivala, yeah? Okay, good. Came up with this terminology for future city elements that I thought was pretty cool, nice. If you take a few of them, and I think all of you can relate to that as being important elements of future cities. But if you look at 2-3 of them, energy being one, right? I mean, if you want a future city, you need something that is clean. You need clean energy. You need reliable energy. So that's something that's going to be certainly part of what a future city is. Mobility is another one that's important. You need mobility not just to get from one place to another, but also you want it to be convenient, you want it to be easy to use, and so on. What we should never forget about is things like culture and livability. The softer elements of a future city I think are as important as some of the harder elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect future city with some of the mega trends that are likely to happen in 4 segments and talk about how materials in each of those segments play a role. If you take the 4 segments, industrial is really the one very large part of those 4 segments, and here I'm talking about almost all the manufacturing sector comes under industrial. 4 trends in that: accelerated automation. I'll talk more about that later, but clearly it's happening everywhere around you, right? I mean, there's going to be, if you want a good, reliable future city, you have to take away from manual and try and make it more automated. It becomes more reliable. It then releases people's time to do things more of higher value additions. Clearly, more and more people are moving into cities. In some of the more developed countries, right or wrong, it's 80-85%. India is still lower than that, but the fact that more people are moving to cities is very clearly there. Sustainability, a pattern for everybody, and also we need to be safe and productive. So let me take accelerated automation as one example. What is happening all around you today, and some of you may not see it straight up, but if you take the packages that we order every week from Amazon, they are coming from these massive, highly automated warehouses. And soon you will, with things where there are hardly any people, there are what they call bots taking people around. And if you took a delivery by drones, is also beginning to happen in many cities. So in order to enable these to be happening in a more efficient way, you need high operational utilization. You need reliable products that don't need maintenance. You need energy savings. You need lightweight. And all of these are enabled by materials that go into those components. So if you take one example, there is a carbon fiber based composite materials that will allow you to reduce your weight very significantly for these drones and bots. The other example that I can talk about is thermal conductive polymers. Metals are thermally conductive naturally, right? You heat them up, they're hot. But when you have electrical motors and so on, they get hot. You want to dissipate the heat. If you don't dissipate the heat, you have problems. Allowing polymers to do this enables you to make some really good, sophisticated designs in such a way that you don't need to make fabrications, large components. You can make everything much smaller, much lighter. So these are some couple of examples of what's been happening there, right? The other mega trend that I think is going to be very important in future cities and basically in the way we live in future is in the medical area. There's clearly an aging population. People are living longer and they want to lead good lives, right? Many of them are in good health and they want to be able to lead comfortable lives, travel, contribute to society and so on. But there's also an increased prevalence of diseases as people live to be 80, 90, 100. Diseases that were not there when our life expectancy was 30, 40, 50 are beginning to come up and become more important. How do you deal with that? We also want we don't want other people to know that we are sick, right? Or not doing well. We want our patients to be empowered. And I'll talk about these 2 things in a minute. And of course, sustainability is a common theme everywhere. So if you think about 2 things, I mean, how do you empower a patient? You don't want to be consciously taking medicines. If there's a way in which you could get medicated automatically, that would be great. You also want your devices and everything else to be like your phones or stuff you have at home. Very convenient. Just use it. So there's an example of material here which I'll talk about. Imagine you're not well or somebody has got some chronic illness. That person is taking a pill in the morning, afternoon and evening. It's such pardon my language, such a pain, right? Imagine if you could take a small polymer and a 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter diameter, 1 inch rod, and that could be impregnated with the polymer, inserted into your arm, and then you forget about it for 3 years, that drug will get slowly, in a very continuous fashion, into your bloodstream. This is not some kind of science fiction. It's there today. Products like this are available and are becoming more and more popular. If any of you have people who have, family members who have, for example, neurological diseases, it's very difficult to give them medicines. It's not, they don't want to take medicines. In this case, by putting this automatic thing, you are taking it away from them. You're actually making sure they get their medicines on time without them knowing it. So like that, there are other things one can do. You also want it to be comfortable. You want to integrate electronics into the way you deliver medicines. That's another aspect. The other aspect of medical is really miniaturization and connectivity, right? Today, you want it to be really small and yet deliver the job. I'm sure many of you have parents. I'm going a little hard in hearing myself. I want to put a hearing aid, but I don't want people to know that I'm wearing a hearing aid, right? I want it to be nice and somewhere hidden away. So you can enable this through materials and through electronic technology. And the interface of those are the kind of things that companies like ours are working on with our device producers. By also making them flexible, like you see here, and then allowing circuits to be put on those, you're allowing various shapes to be made. So no more does it need to be a linear PCB. You can actually have different shapes that then can fit into different parts of your body, make it easier to use. Let's talk a little bit about consumer, the third mega trend I'm going to talk about, right? And we are all going in for more and more life essentials. There's also a lot of socially environmental consumerism. Sustainability is becoming important. Each one of us is being careful for our future. But there's also a lot of emphasis on healthy lifestyles. Do you think we're going to make 100 medals at the Asian Games? Yeah, we almost did, right? We'll make it easy. Do you think this happened just like that? Why has it happened? Why are we all? Do you think we're all becoming healthier? Do you think we're playing more sports than the past? For me, that's a future city. I think a world economy, people are healthier. They're participating in more sports. You have seen this in China. As and when their economy grew, they became big in sports and they got more medals. So I think healthy lifestyles are going to be important and a very important part of our future cities. Making sure we have spaces for people to play, making sure we have gardens, but also then making it easier for people to do that. I mean, Decathlon has come and done wonders, I think, for sports in India, right? It's so easy, economical, and you walk into a mall while you're buying, other stuff, you also go and buy sports stuff. So how do materials play a role in this? You want something that's light, that's easy to use, that looks great, that's fashionable, and all of that happens because you have the right kind of materials. For example, the last one here is a very light product that does the same job as a heavy thing. So if your helmets could be 1/3 the weight and still be strong enough, if the glasses you wear, the goggles you wear when you go swimming or whatever it is, or the Fitbits you wear are much lighter, wouldn't you all like that? So those are some of the things that materials like polymers will enable. We have, together with Skechers, just launched globally a product where when you wear your shoes, it has no laces. You don't need to bend down. You just put your feet in it, and because it's elastomeric and nice, it kind of flips over, right? It's convenient. My daughters never put their laces on. They're always walking around with their shoes kind of half put on. But also for elderly people, where it's difficult for them to do that, right? I mean, they can just stand and put it in. They can't bend. So these are all things that material technology in little ways can make a difference. This part is very clear. This is about clean mobility. Whether you take buses, cars, whatever else, how can you do it efficiently and sustainably? Weight reduction is very important. Batteries form such a large part of electric cars today. If there's a way to reduce the weight of batteries by half, you increase the range of that electric car. A lot of material information goes in there. The other part is, of course, as I mentioned, electrification and autonomous driving. It's happening more and more. We still don't have permission to have self-driven cars in India, but it's coming, okay? And globally it's coming for sure. And that then changes what happens in the car. My brother lives in the US. He has a Tesla, and for some of the roads that he drives on, he actually can do other things. It gives him time to do other things. So therefore, how can we make all of this happen? There's a lot of materials that go into that. And since it's a mixed audience here, I won't get into what polymers and all are being used, but really materials play a big role. I don't know how you know this, but the Tesla car is made in the least number of operations of any other ICE car. I mean, it's like 1/10 of it. They are now building the whole car frame is built by aluminum casting. I think in 2 castings, if I'm not mistaken. A typical welded car is got hundreds of operations before they do it. So again, this comes because you have the right materials to enable that. This is basically a battery electric vehicle, and you can see all the different polymers that go into a battery electric vehicle. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but let me just take one example, or a couple of examples. If we take battery separators, if you remember about a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, there was a lot of fires with lithium-ion batteries, in fact even in India. And one of the reasons why those fires were happening were the separators were actually shorting between cathode and anode. Now, as you increase your battery size as well as the power of the batteries, simple things like this make a big difference. Now that is a polymer. It's actually a polymer with micro pores, and designing them properly and keeps it lightweight. Otherwise you could use more heavier ceramics and things, but they're heavier. So again, what can you do with materials that gets through there? We have some really good Indian companies now in Bangalore, Log9 for example, who are doing some extraordinarily work on batteries and trying to localize batteries. So hopefully some of you will look at participating in this part of the value chain as you go forward. I think there are other things like battery cars, electric cars also have a very large number of automation. I mean, they are more mobile phones really than they are cars, the amount of electronics and stuff they have in them. The other part that's very important and becoming increasingly important for our economy today, many of you probably read about it, is hydrogen, right? If hydrogen can power, you can make chemicals with hydrogen in a clean way, because when you burn hydrogen, what do you get? Anybody? Sorry? Water. So there's no pollution. So if you can make hydrogen in a clean way, you can do that. But to make hydrogen, you have to electrolyze water. And to electrolyze water, you need a lot of energy. And for that, Adani, Reliance are all building these massive solar farms that takes, therefore, clean energy and makes hydrogen out of them. But hydrogen also has a lot of challenges from a material design perspective. It tends to have certain things that affects materials care. So what kind of materials you use becomes important. We have something called PPS, which is a very high performance, high heat polymer that can help solve some of these problems. The other way you use hydrogen is a fuel cell. So instead of electric vehicles, you can have fuel cell based vehicles, especially in commercial larger trucks. That's probably a way that will go, where you use hydrogen in order to basically generate electricity. And finally, a theme that I think is important for all of us that covers every segment that's there, sustainability. Our CEO, Laurie, actually talked about this. Our view of sustainability is not just about sustainable products. Our view of sustainability is, yes, we have to give our customers good solutions, but also we have to take care of the environment and the factory we operate in, offices, everything else. We also need to take care of the people and the communities that we operate in. That is really sustainability. And finally, integrity, right? This is a big problem in many emerging markets. There are rules, people don't follow them. Compliance is really bad, people are reporting wrong. And we feel somehow that integrity of operating is really going to be important for us to operate sustainably. This is a very busy chart, but it's an example. Polymers and plastics have a very, very bad name, okay? And they're all, the general feeling is it's bad, it's terrible. But actually plastics play a very important role. And if they are used responsibly and recycled responsibly, they avoid, for example, you get a milk in a pouch, the alternative is a glass bottle. Can you imagine how much energy it takes to make glass? Transport glass, it's about 100 times probably heavier than your plastic pouch. That needs to go back, gets cleaned, the water that's involved. So really, the solution I think is to use plastics more responsibly. So here are some examples of how many companies are actually enabling that to happen. One is to use more bio-based materials, and I'll talk about that in the next slide, so that you are really not impacting the fossil environment. The other way is to recycle it in a chemical way. So you take your polymer, you take it back to its thing, so the total carbon footprint of that is lower. You can do mechanical recycling. Our factory here in Silvassa, more than half our raw materials are based on recycled materials. You can do carbon capture. So you basically, when you burn fossil fuel, you get carbon dioxide, right? For those of you who are here in chemistry, chemical engineering, you'll know what that means. If that carbon dioxide goes into the air, and that's what's creating a lot of the global warming, if we can take that carbon dioxide and convert it back into something, that is one way that you can, so you can take carbon and put it back and make a chemical out of it. And then you have polymers with lower footprint, and then you have bio-based polymers that actually can just go into the environment, and through composting, you don't have any environmental footprint. So these are about 6 different ways in which you can use polymer sustainably. One is with recycled content, bio-based materials, carbon capture, reduce carbon footprint, and end of life. One of the ways in which the industry is very smartly using bio-based materials is through using biofeedstock. An engineering plastic by nature is very durable, needs to be durable, right? You don't want it to fall apart. You don't want it to biodegrade. You want it to last long. The performance requirements are very high, right? Your car components, your mobile phone components. How do you do that? One way to do that is to use bio-based materials. And then in your polymer, you incorporate the same material so that the durability is exactly the same as a finished product. So this is one way a lot of the companies are doing it. So in this particular case, by doing it, you don't affect the properties, but you have a 25% lower carbon footprint automatically, right? So there are some benefits like that you can use. I'm going to wrap with one slide about ourselves. I work for a company, US-based company. We pride ourselves in what we do on sustainability. We do engineering, plastics, and chemicals. And we have the largest range of polymers. And we're happy to say that over the last 5-6 years, we have developed sustainable solutions covering more than half our polymers. And some of these are really high performance polymers here, like the high temperature nylons are used in very demanding applications, and yet you can have sustainable solutions. So with that, I'm going to wrap. This is just to give you a snapshot of how materials play a role in where cities will go in the future, where the kind of things you need in order for some of the things that were talked about, better roads being one, the kind of materials you need in order to enable future cities are tremendous. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to do things in that area, and hopefully some of you will get involved with either developing or applying those materials into solutions in future. Thank you. Thanks for the time and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for nice talk. You said that high temperature application, you have some nylons.
Yes.
So what kind of temperature will be set?
In terms of use temperature, is it?
Basically, let's say if I want to make a car engine
Yeah.
using plastics, can I do that?
Yes, yes. So we have today, if you look under the hood of internal combustion engines, you open the hood, you'll see a lot of black plastics. They're all mostly nylons, a lot of them.
So they can go up to 500 degrees centigrade?
Not 500. I think I have got to check. I think it's 200.
200, there are many. See,
200.
even Whiteout will do 200 will be okay.
So you can go.
But I want something around 400.
I can check and let you know. We have, if you look at the chart we had before this, so some of these plastics here can go to higher temperatures.
Okay.
So PPS I think goes to 300 and so on. So some of these can go higher. 400 I'll check and let you know if we have any. That will go. That's right. Peak will go above that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay. Thank you. Oh, sure.
Thank you, sir, for the very informative talk. Now I request Dr. Divya Padmanabhan to felicitate Mr. Sethuraman. Okay, thank you, sir. It's time for a tea break. Tea will be served on 6th floor. Immediately after that, all are requested to resume to the next session. Thank you.